Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Uglies Season 1, Episode 1. You know, it's their debut episode, and the name of this episode is You Show Is Ugly. Okay, we ain't gonna go through all that. Y'all know where it came from. But anyway, I have to go on and say, I give utmost congratulations to BRTB TV Productions as well as this cast. This cast is phenomenal. And I give my congrats because this is a groundbreaking show, and this is something that definitely needs to be showcased, to the LGBTQ as a whole, because, the whole idea is that, the uglies is that here it is, people normally would dim these type of people, the ones who are socially awkward or fat or femmes, they will immediately, say that these people are ugly, but yet this show is showing how beautiful these people are, and that we should stop, with all of these dumbass stereotypes and learn to embrace each other as a whole. Because these four characters, they are all uniquely different, and they all have their trials and tribulations, certain things that they're dealing with, but I can honestly say I gel with these characters because it's great to see big men like myself being shown on screen, that we can be leading actors and leading actresses, and we as big people are beautiful too, and we should be given fair opportunity and fair treatment. And because at the end of the day, not everybody's going to look like an Adonis. Even though the Adonis is sexy, even though the Adonis is pretty to look at, but at the end of the day, not everybody looks like that. And it's not diminishing the Adonis or anything like that. It's not diminishing them at all. They are who they are. But then again, it's great that we now have a platform where we're showing a different side of gay life that is just as interesting, just as beautiful, just as sexy, and just as over the top. So this was the first episode, and we already get like a really good glimpse of these characters and how they interact with each other. So the first character we meet is Craig. Craig is known as the Catfisher, and he's played by Kirk Presley. Now, the first time I saw Kirk was when he had like a small role in Boy Drama, where he played a professor, where he just came out of nowhere. Get excited! I definitely remember him from that, and I remember even in that short part, he had me rolling. So he's definitely a really good comedic actor. But then he also we saw with his character as Craig, he also has some serious moments as well. So we know, from what we know of Craig, is that Craig is a catfisher. So he pretty much, what catfishers does, they create a false profile or false pictures, and then once he meets the person, they realize that the picture that they've been receiving isn't the real him. But because we see in the first scene, he's like going through an alley, meeting up with some John that he met online or whatever. And then the dude was like, "Yo, the pictures that you sent, those not you, young." And he's like, "Don't worry about that." And next thing you know, he just got on his knees and started slobbing on the knob. And I'm like, "Damn, Craig, you getting live out here in these streets, ain't you, bitch?" but on the flip side of it, you see that Craig has a great personality. He's funny. He loves his friends. He's, over the top. Has a awesome personality. But the thing about it, he likes to try different things. He's not into relationships and things like that. But then again, it's like, but then we also kind of see that there are some self-esteem issues he has, because he's not a bad-looking guy, but he's catfishing people, and that could actually lead to some dangerous shit. On some real shit. I mean, catfishing can get you killed. you know, and we definitely seen on Catfish where things could get really ugly and they can go left really quick. You know, this is a person who's believing that this person that they're talking to is in the picture, and then when you go meet them, they don't look nothing like the picture at all. So he's playing a dangerous game, but I think Craig likes living on the edge. But then also, you know, we actually see that, you know, he doesn't believe in love for himself, but he definitely, you know, believes in love, you know, for others. So he's definitely a good guy, but he definitely has some of his issues, and we definitely saw that in this episode. The next guy we meet is Javon. Now, Javon, I would have to say I related to that character the most because he's a blogger just like myself. I mean, I do video blogging on YouTube, and he pretty much has his own blogging site, and he is just as hilarious and just as expressive, and I was getting my life from Javon. Like, Javon was like, look, if his dick is the size of my fist and my arm, you shouldn't be fucking him. I was rolling. I was like, oh my God, I love this guy. And then he starts talking about how everybody wants to get the gold rubber, but not everybody should be getting the gold rubber because you know a condom can fit any size. You trying to get the gold rubber, but yet you know the gold rubber you really can't fit it, and it gets stuck in some other place, and you got to do some other shit. Like, he just went in, and I was just rolling. I was like, oh my God, I love this guy. But one thing I can say about Javon is that he's definitely comfortable with who he is. He's very expressive. He actually owns his sexuality, owns his identity. You know, he even talks about, you know, the last relationship, you know, that he had that went south, and he hasn't had sex in 8 months, even though he's a very, you know, even though he talks about sex on his blog, personally, he's been to himself. And we actually see that we also meet the other character who's also his roommate, and his name is Gabe. Now, Gabe, you know, will be considered the trade. But we come to find out about Gabe that Gabe doesn't have much sexual experience. He's just come out as gay. He's been, I think, like rejected from his family. I think his family were in the church. And this is a real issue that we deal with within the black gay community, that you have a lot of us who are taught to be overly masculine, and that we have like this pseudo masculinity complex in the black community, and if you don't meet that, you're considered a bitch or a sissy or not a real man, which is completely fucking ignorant. But this is the reality that a lot of us live. This is why you have a lot of, you know, black gay men who rather be trade than be feminine or be expressive, because usually in the black community they like, because you know, you got a lot of them that say that, well, I don't mind people are gay, but they just need to act like men. I don't like the ones that be trying to act like girls and trying to be sissies and stuff. Like, you get this kind of talk in the black gay community, and Gabe comes from that. So here it is, he's learning to come to grips with the fact that he is a gay man, but he doesn't want to be portrayed as a gay man in public. He wants to kind of hide behind the masculinity thing, you know, because that's a common thing. You know, all the guys want to talk to the trade. They don't want the regular guy who's overly feminine or, you know, too fat or whatever. You know, everybody wants to trade. You know, so everybody sometimes plays that trade shit to get a guy. And, you know, it's crazy, because at the end of the day, you know, shouldn't you actually be interested in the guy for who he is? And shouldn't you love, and if you find a guy that you really connected to, would it matter if he's feminine or not? Because at the end of the day, if you really love him, you know, does it matter what other people say? I mean, so these are like real questions that this whole episode had me thinking, you know, and it really hit home. And we see that Gabe, you know, is that element that is real in the community. But I love how the rest of them actually embrace him. They don't beat him. They cut up with him and they make fun of him and stuff, but they love him, you know, because they know that he's one of us. It's just that he needs to be guided, you know. He needs you know, good people around him that's going to show him the good side of gay life versus the bad side. But we definitely see that Gabe is still going through the process of understanding his sexuality. And then we meet the one who I like to call Love Bug, and that is Isaac. Isaac is so lovable. I love Isaac. Isaac is very fashion forward, very extravagant, and it's just fierce, top down. For a big bitch, she kills it. You know, for a big boy, he is sexy and is like and actually embraces it. You know, he walks in like he owns the runway, and I'm so here for that. You know, because you know us big men need to see men like him who are big but own their bigness and own their beauty and own their self right. And you know, we definitely see that with him, but then we also see that Isaac has his own personal issues involving his weight and his health. But then also we see that him and Gabe get into it because, you know, supposedly Isaac's in a relationship with a guy, but the guy is actually with someone else, so he's kind of like number two instead of number one. And Gabe kind of called him out on it, and he was like, and Isaac's just like, you know what, I'm about to get up out of here before I whoop his ass. I am not here for the bullshit. I gotta go. So yeah, Isaac pretty much is a sweetheart, and we see that Craig actually, you know, wants to help Isaac, you know, get fit and all that. So we saw him working out with him and all of that. So, and we saw that when they was like doing the squats and how Isaac was in the background was like squatting and getting down and everything. I was like, you better do that shit, boy. Yes, that's what I love, you know, and it's so refreshing because big people are beautiful, man. And the fact that I'm seeing not only big people, but then I'm also seeing other, you know, different, you know, like the trade as well as the socially awkward guy, and how they're all together and they're all just getting life from each other. It's just amazing, you know, and it's a really good show, and I was just here for everything, you know. And then we also get the tea that Javon is actually attracted to Gabe. Him and Gabe have been roommates for 2 years, but then we kind of see a scene where we can definitely tell there's an attraction there. Well, we don't know how Gabe feels, but, you know, but definitely at that moment we see that Javon is really into him. So that's something that Javon is like toying with because, you know, and the thing about it, he actually tells Craig about it. So Craig's the only one that knows that Javon has a thing for Gabe. But then he's saying, but then, you know, they all talking about the fact that, look, Gabe is still new to the community, where you, on the other hand, you have a sense of who you are, you're established, you're comfortable with yourself. Gabe is not there yet, so, you know, so therefore that will be a challenge, but then you know what they say, opposites do attract. So I can actually see the two of them together, actually, but it's definitely going to have its bouts of trials and tribulations because they're not in the same place. And Craig even said that, look, you know, I may not want love, but I definitely wish love for everybody else. So, you know, if you really, you know, so he's saying that, look, you know, if you really think it's love, you should see what it's all about. You should see this through and see where it takes you. And I was like, you know, Craig gave some great advice, you know, and he was just saying that, yeah, because even Javon even admitted that one moment I'm just saying, you know, I'm not going to go down that road because he's not in the same place as me. But then again, there's also a part of me that still wants to get close to him. So I'm like, this is going to be really interesting. So I'm like, I'm so here for this. But yes, shout out to all of these actors. They are phenomenal, and I think this show is definitely going to be a big hit with BRTV TV. Definitely we've been talking about it, and I'm just getting my life from this show. But yes, but let me shout out the actors. Gabe is actually played by Dana Lamont. Shout out to you. Isaac is played by Kevin Q. Jones. Yes, shout out to you. Javon, the blogger, is actually played by Romeo Garcon. Shout out. And then also Kirk Presley. Shout out to you too. Who plays Gabe. So this is a phenomenal show. And also shout out to Ramon Marquis, who's one of the writers. Who's one of the writers of this show, and I can honestly say you guys have a gem, and I definitely see this show definitely becoming a real groundbreaking thing in the LGBTQ community, and it's long overdue. And I definitely remember when they were working on this show like last year, and I remember hearing things about it. So finally, we got the premiere, and I was just blown away. So I'm definitely going to be reviewing this show because, hey, I'm a part of this crew. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm one of these guys. And it felt great for me because it's like I felt like, wow, issues that I'm dealing with and certain challenges that I'm dealing with, I'm now being seen, and now I realize that I'm not alone. And now many other people who are fat, femme, or socially awkward will see that, no, you're not alone, and you're beautiful, and you deserve love, and you deserve greatness just like everybody else. So that's what I really got from this. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. If there's certain things in this episode that stood out to you, definitely I'd love to hear your thoughts, because this should definitely be an ongoing discussion, because the actual face of the LGBTQ needs to broaden itself. We can have the Adonises, but then we also got to have the fats, we got to have the femmes, and we got to have the socially awkwards, because we're all beautiful and we all make part of the rainbow. Check that. So that's what I have. So subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, subscribe to brtvtv.com. If you have not already done so, do it now. I will have that link in the description box. And also check out, the Uglies fan club, which is actually created by Rick Hollowboy. Shout out to you, bruh. The Uglies page is everything, and you'll definitely get interactions, from the cast as well as the fans, and you'll also probably get, messages from the creator Caesar Williams as well. So, definitely check out the Uglies fan club on Facebook, because the Uglies group is lit, and it's a place where all of us can go, and we can not only talk about the show, but even share some of our personal stories of what it's like to be, considered the ugly in the LGBTQ. But yes, BRTV TV, the Uglies group, and also check out the Triangle Fan Club as well, where you get everything BRTV TV. You also get updates, from the creator Caesar Williams, and you also get interactions from the cast and crew there as well. But yeah, so again, subscribe to my channel, click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Follow me on all my social links that I have listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of The Uglies. This is a great show, and I am on the edge of my seat waiting to see what's going to happen next. So until then, everybody, take care.